All right, now that the draft is officially over, we have information that comes out when it comes to trades during the first round, rumors, news, things that leak after the draft. And we have one big piece of information that I thought was really interesting. And Pride of Detroit actually wrote about it, but it came from this piece of content that the Eagles do where they cover their draft. And in Pride of Detroit, Jeremy Reisman wrote an article detailing how the Eagles reached out to the Detroit Lions about trading up in the first round. So if you guys remember, before the draft, the conversation really leading up to it was, will the Lions trade up or will they trade back? And we have information now confirming that they had an opportunity to trade back and to try and select whoever they wanted to select. But they stayed put. Brad said no thank you and took Tyleik Williams, a defensive tackle out of Ohio State. So let's read the article and we can go through this together. So this is, again, Pride of Detroit wrote about this. And it says here, but a video from the Philadelphia Eagles, this is the title of the content, 96 hours inside the Eagles draft room, shows that the Lions had an opportunity to trade back 4 spots to the final pick of the night. Eagles general manager Howie Roseman was feeling a little eager on day one, starting with the 22nd pick. Roseman picked up the phone and called as many teams as he could about a potential trade-up, with Alabama linebacker Jahad Campbell surprisingly still on the board. Roseman wanted to ensure he was an Eagle. Eventually, Roseman called the Lions, and we can only hear Philly's side of the conversation. Roseman said, any interest in moving back? After receiving Holmes' answer, Roseman said into the phone, that's fair. I appreciate the honesty. After hanging up, he turned to the war room and said, Detroit, I just spoke to. They said no. This news doesn't really come as a surprise after day one of the NFL draft. Holmes admitted that they had received trade calls, and one in particular was tempting. He said, got a few calls when it got close to our pick. Holmes said, just didn't feel great, just how it was thinning out for us specifically. That's the fascination of the NFL, right? It's 31 other different boards, and you have no idea. You can do all the research in advance and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, you truly don't know. That's what makes it fun. You just have to try and make the most responsible decision that you can. We thought about it. There was one enticing one, but we just felt that with the depth of the group right there and how the board was falling, felt it was the most responsible thing to stay put. Now, when Holmes said he got a pretty enticing offer, we're left to assume it may have been the Philadelphia Eagles willing to trade up to get Jahad Campbell. Now, looking back, both teams got the guy they wanted. The Lions drafted Tyleik Williams. The Eagles got Jahad Campbell without having to move up. But this further confirms to me, I think a part of why Brad didn't want to move back was the threat that the Buffalo Bills were going to take Tyleik Williams. So, again, to all the people that think and maybe still think that Tyleik Williams was a reach, there had to have been some feeling from Brad that, man, we can trade back and get assets, but at what cost? Would we lose out on the guy we really want? And Brad has shown, like he has shown plenty of other times, if he loves a player, he'll either A, go up and get him, or he'll stay put and select that player. And there's always a risk. If you move back, you may not get the guy you originally wanted. And you have to be comfortable with a couple of guys that were there. And Brad even admitted that the pool for them was slimming down. So I love reading stuff like this, guys, because to all the crowd out there that still maybe believes that Tyleik would have been a second-round pick, I promise you the Buffalo Bills would have taken him. He even confirmed that when he spoke to the media here locally, Tyleik Williams, and he said the Bills told him if he was there, they would have taken him. They met with him with a top 30 visit, and all signs pointed to Tyleik being off the board if the Lions wouldn't have selected him. So the Lions had an opportunity to trade back. They didn't. They took their guy, and I'm glad they did. We love the Tyleik Williams pick. We talked about it ever since day one when we reacted to the pick and people were upset about it. And I understand the edge thing, but still, you look at the player, I'm glad they took Tyleik Williams. But what do you guys make of this? Do you think Brad should have taken the trade? Do you think Tyleik would have been there? I've already spoke. I don't think he would have. I think the Bills would have selected him, and then the Lions would have to pivot and take someone else. So they get their guy. And if there's any GM that if they say they get their guy you're confident in, Brad Holmes is one of those GMs. So especially in the first round, you got to make that pick count, and he did by taking Tyleik Williams. But comment down below, let me know your thoughts on this information. What do you think of it? Are you happy Brad didn't take it? It ended up working out for both teams anyway, but I thought this was very interesting, so I wanted to share it with you guys. But check out our live show tonight, 8 to 10 p.m. We'll be live. We're talking to Ahmed Hassanin's brother tonight to really tell his story and everything about it. So please be there, tune in, come hang out. But until then, I will catch you all. Hey, what's going on there? It's Jeff Iafrate. Appreciate you for finishing the video. You can check out one of the videos here suggested or show support by commenting, liking, and subscribing. and buy your merchandise at FisherCTSports.com.